It's no secret that great interior design sells homes. So today, I'm going to share with you some top tips that will help you increase value without breaking the budget. Let's jump in. Hey guys, it's Ashley Lazarian, and I'm back today to share with you the top tips that I have found throughout my career to help increase value without breaking the budget. Now, I've been licensed Realtor since 2005, but in that time, I have also had my interior design degree working for a couple of interior design firms, as well as a large home builder running their design studio. So the great thing is I've kind of had both sides of the spectrum in this. I'm sure you've heard the term bathrooms and kitchens sell houses. Well, that's pretty accurate. Most of the time, the bigger expenses that people are going to renovate are going to be the kitchen and the bathrooms. Now, there are some things that you can do that are not a high price that will give you a huge return on your investment. So let's start in that kitchen. Now, I'm sure that you've walked in a home, whether it's yours or someone else's, and you've seen those old oak cabinets, that yellow oak that's back from the 80s, early 90s. But the thing about a lot of those cabinets are they're really great quality. A lot of those are solid wood compared to now we're building with less than quality products, sometimes with an MDF cabinet, which is just not the same quality as a true wood cabinet. So don't necessarily discount the cabinets that you have in your home, or maybe it's your investment property. If they're a solid wood cabinet, you can go ahead and just give those a great paint job and you can totally transform the space. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a little time consuming and you definitely have to put in the prep work. If I can tell you anything, it's take your time and do the prep. It will completely transform the cabinets in either a good or negative way if you don't put in the time and energy into prepping them. Start off by giving them a good scrub, making sure that you've got any nicks or food, drinks, anything that has spilled on the cabinets in the past years. You want to make sure that you've got really clean cabinets to start with. The next thing that I like to use is called a Zinsser stain. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's how I've always said it, so that's what I'm going to go with. So this is a stain that will kind of prevent you from having to sand all of the cabinets, which is extremely time consuming, and what I think a lot of us choose not to sand. You know, that's the reason we choose not to do the cabinets this way, is because sanding can take so much time and energy, really. So if you spray that on there, it gives the cabinets a little bit of a rough texture. That way the paint can adhere to something. Now, when you choose a paint, this is not the area to cheap out on. If you're painting your walls, you can go with whatever you want to, but when you're choosing paint for cabinetry, you want to definitely get a quality paint. I personally have always used Sherwin-Williams. It's just my cup of tea. I've also used Benjamin Moore, but you can use anything that you want, but you want to make sure that is a good quality paint. Now, with that paint, you're going to want to spray them compared to rolling them. Can you roll them? Yes. If you're going to do it this way, I would tell you to make sure that you go ahead and take a paintbrush and do the insets if it has them, and then roll them. But you are going to get a much better product if you use a sprayer. You can rent a sprayer at your local Home Depot or Lowe's, or whatever store that you have around you, or you can buy one if you see that maybe you're going to be doing these projects more often, or maybe you're getting to investment properties where you're going to be doing a couple of flips, or rental properties. They're not that expensive these days, and if you're going to continue doing projects, it's really good to have one on hand. Last but not least, go ahead and get some knobs or some pulls. You can get them on Amazon, again, at your local hardware store. This really is just going to give you that final piece. It's like the jewelry with the outfit. Once you've got those cabinets dry, you want to go ahead and put on some new hardware, step back, look at your kitchen, and just admire what you've done. This is a kitchen that we actually just completed a couple of months ago, and I feel like it turned out amazing. It just goes to show you what a little paint can do. We also added some crown molding to the top of the cabinets and gave them a staggered effect above the microwave and the refrigerator, again, just to give it more of a custom vibe, but I feel like it really turned out great. So with this project, you spent probably a couple $100, and you're probably going to reap over $5,000 or more when you go to sell the home. I'd say that's worth your time and energy. Now, another area you can really reap your return on investment is in those bathrooms. So many times people get nervous because bathroom renovations can be very costly. Your basic bathroom renovation, if you're completely tearing everything out, can be $3,000-$4,000. Again, up to over $10,000-$15,000, just depending on what you're putting in the bathroom, your choices of tile, vanity, lighting, etc. And then also the size of the bathroom. A lot of the older homes that I've walked in, when I say older, again, I'm talking about those 80s and 90s homes, even some of them into the early 2000s, we walk into those bathrooms, especially guest bathrooms, and they've got those, I'm not even sure what to call it. It's not even a cream. It's darker than a cream, but it's not a brown. It's this weird shade of like dark cream. Tile and bathtub. It's just not appealing. It makes the whole area really look dark. And a lot of people say, well, there's nothing I can do about that. I have to just leave it. Well, there is something you can do about these bathrooms. It's called reglazing. It's very similar in idea to painting, but it's specifically for tile. Now, again, I'm going to warn you, prep is the biggest factor here. You want to really clean that tile, make sure that you've got any mold or mildew. If there's any grout that's crumbling, you want to make sure that you've got everything out of the way so that when you are putting on this reglazing material, you're not having things crumble off later, or maybe it looks clumpy in certain sections. So take the time to prep. Here comes another use for that sprayer. I would definitely say you can roll it. The sprayer is always going to give you a cleaner look. Plus, it's so much faster. So if you went ahead and bought that sprayer for project number 1, now you can justify it for project number 2. I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, well, but how long does this last? Is it going to just scratch off the first time somebody takes a bath? Actually, no. They say on the product that it lasts over 5 years minimum. Let's be realistic. By the time this bathroom does start to mess up, you're either going to be gone from this home or you're going to want to just tear it out and do a complete renovation anyways. The next feature we're going to look at is moldings. Now, I'm sure if you recall walking through homes when you were looking at purchasing, or maybe you're going through this process right now, when you walk in a home and it's got that beautiful crown molding at the top and those thick baseboards at the bottom, it just gives the home a different vibe. What are you going to need for this project? Well, obviously the molding, so we're going to drive right back to that neighborhood hardware store that we've been going to for our other projects. And you're going to need a nail gun for this one and also an air compressor. Now this next one seems pretty small, but I tell you, it's a huge return on investment. When you walk into a home, one of the things that you're going to notice throughout the home is the door hardware. It literally is in every room. So when you're walking through a home and you see those old, dated, round brass knobs that are from the 80s and 90s, it just gives you the vibe of old. Another thing that you'll notice as you walk through the house in every single room is the light switches and outlet covers. Now, over time, these can really age and they start to take on this yellowish tone. So many times when I'm walking through with a buyer, they'll ask me, did this person smoke? Now, that does assist in making it yellow, but a lot of times, no, the person didn't smoke. These just age over time. So if they're 20 or 30 years old, it's just happening naturally. So if you're looking to put your home on the market, whether it's an investment property or whether it's your personal home, this is something that I definitely encourage you to do. It is not an expensive thing. It does take a little bit of time because you have to go to the hardware store, get things, and take the time to change each one of them out. But it makes a huge difference in the total, vibe of the home, whether it's looking old and dated or whether it's fresh and new. I will tell you, be very, very careful. I like to have a licensed electrician do it just because I'm not messing with anything and getting shocked. So if you decide to do this one on your own, be careful and don't hold me responsible because I warned you. One of the most simple things, yet so many people choose not to do, is paint. Just paint the walls. If you have a very specific, really dark burgundy that you absolutely love, that's fine as long as you were living there, but now you're potentially looking at selling the home, and we're looking at return on investment. And if a can of gray paint costs you $50 and you can paint that burgundy room, and it makes or breaks the sale, because yes, It will make or break the sale. You have no idea how many people walk through a home and they cannot see past those colors, whether it's that old burgundy color or I've seen like a really, really deep forest green. It's so dark, and if you don't have a lot of natural light, it just makes the house seem smaller. Plus the fact of you want everyone to be able to see themselves living here, and not just narrowing it down to the people that have a design eye and can see past that of, well, it's just paint and I can do this. I hear that so many times. Well, it's just paint. They can see past it. No, they can't. So help them see past it. Last but not least is a super easy one, landscaping. As these people are walking up or as they're pulling up, they're seeing your front yard. They're going to see your backyard. These are really big sellers in Georgia because for many, many months of the year, people here go outside, and honestly, it doesn't cost that much. I'm not saying to hire a landscaping company and have them come out. Just get out one weekend with your husband or wife, drag the kids along screaming, make everybody just pour out some mulch in some of those beds, make sure that the grass is cut, the leaves are blown, maybe even go plant some flowers out front. If you've got any planters on the back porch, make sure those are cleaned up. Just make it somewhere when you walk around that you think, I would want to live here. You want to look at it from the buyer's perspective. Now, I know I've given you a lot to think about, so you may not be able to do all of them. All of these things really depend on the time, energy, and funds that you want to put into this home. You have to think about what is going to get you the biggest return on your investment, because at the end of the day, that's what's most important. I hope this video has helped you, and if you have any specific questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Also, if you have any personal things that you've done that you felt really got you a big return on investment, I'd really appreciate you sharing it below so that other people can gain from your experience. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so that you can be notified every time a new video comes up. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time.